I was burned out packing for yet another trip, even though I had just gotten back from one, and thinking there had to be more to life than this. Then my son said one sentence that changed everything forever. So if you're feeling stuck, empty, or like you're coasting through life, you can't afford to miss what comes next. Welcome to the Say Yes Experience. I'm Jessica Rector. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And if you've ever felt like you're on autopilot, exhausted, or just wondering where that spark was that made you, where that spark went, I've got something special in store for you today because just a few years ago, I was feeling that exact same thing. Everything on the outside looked amazing. It was shiny. I was speaking, traveling, making a difference and an impact to audiences around the world. But on the inside, I was on the verge of burnout. I was feeling like life was passing me by and just happening to me instead of me actually participating, engaging, and living it. And then my 9-year-old Blaze said something that changed everything for me. He is wise beyond his years. He said, Mom, you should start saying yes to things that light you up again. And I was like, oh, that sounds exhausting. But it was so simple that it shattered me to my core in the best way possible. So today, I want to share with you the truth about how the Say Yes experience started and how one tiny decision sent me on a path to joy, courage, and really being present and living life and becoming a better version of myself along the way. If you're feeling stuck, or numb, or like there's more to life than the way you're living, this is the episode for you. Now, before we dive in, I have a challenge for you. As you listen, think about one thing, big or small, that used to light you up, something that you've put on the shelf for far too long. And by the end of this episode, I'm going to challenge you to say yes to it because sometimes the biggest changes start with the smallest yes. All right, let's get back to the day that I'm standing in the bedroom, packing for yet another trip, completely feeling empty. And at that moment, my son giving me the words that literally changed my life and changed where I was headed. Have you ever woken up and realized that you've become someone that you barely recognize? That was me until one tiny idea changed everything. I was on the verge of burnout, standing on stages in front of thousands, always on the road, feeling exhausted when I was at home. I mean, it would be 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and I wouldn't want to get up from my beige couch. Now, I'm going to take you back to the time of COVID. Yes, the time that changed all of our lives. But after COVID hit, organizations started becoming a lot more aware of burnout and the importance of burnout in the organization. Now, pre-COVID, I was the only keynote speaker on burnout. After COVID, organizations said, we need that topic. So I was on the road more than I was home. And when I did get home, my son would want to go do things and have fun. And all I wanted to do was, you guessed it, lay on the Chase lounger on the couch. I just wanted to relax, to unwind, to replenish, to get my energy back because although traveling is you're sitting on a plane a lot of times, when you're speaking as a keynote speaker, you're constantly on from the minute you leave your house until the minute you get back to your house, because you don't know if there's going to be someone on the plane or in the hotel or at the event. They're going to recognize you as the keynote speaker. So you have to be your bubbly personality that you got hired for. And so when I got home, it was my time to relax, to unwind. Now, I loved what I was doing, but there was no downtime because my schedule was constantly full with the need and the demand for burnout. And I was loving it. I was extremely thankful for where I was, that my business had grown so much, specifically because it wasn't that long before this that I was struggling to even pay the bills. But then one night, I was in my room packing for yet another trip, and my back was towards the door. And I hear the door open, and Blaze's tiny footsteps walk across the carpet, and he sees me packing. And he says, "Are you serious, Mama? You're leaving again? You just got here." And the sad truth of it was, I did just get there. And I was trying to gain my composure, but his words cut me. And I turned around and looked at him and was wiping my tears off on his shoulder and said, "Buddy, I'll be back in just a couple days." And as though he could feel my sadness through the hug, he pulls back and he says, "Mommy, when you get back, I have a really great idea. Let's say yes to stuff." I thought, oh, that sounds so exhausting. He says, "No, Mommy, we're not going to say yes to everything. We're going to find the things that light you up, that bring you joy, that make you happy again." And I thought, that sounds amazing. And so I said yes to him. But he didn't leave it at that. After that trip, I got home and almost immediately he says, "Okay, I have a great idea. I know what the first thing that we're going to get you to say yes to." I was like, "What is that, buddy?" "Ice cream." He knows how much Mommy loves ice cream. And he said, "There's an ice cream place I want to take you to." And of course, I said yes. So he held me accountable because I guarantee as soon as I returned, I would have forgotten all about that and I would immediately gone and laid on the couch, not wanting to get up again. Because sometimes when you're laying on a couch, you might think, "Ooh, whatever someone's asking me to do has got to look and feel better than this couch because it's feeling really inviting right now." So whenever he took me to ice cream, he knows how much I loved ice cream. So for him, he probably was like, "This is going to be an easy yes for Mommy." But for me, as much as I loved ice cream, I had ice cream in the freezer that I could go get. But what it did was it took me out of my comfort zone of just going to the freezer for ice cream, out of the comfort zone of just laying on the couch and relaxing, watching TV, vegging out, numbing my mind to anything, just so I could replenish the energy, just so I could feel motivated again. So it got me outside of my usual ice cream, of going into my freezer, picking it out, getting a bowl, and eating it. It made me actually go somewhere and do something else. And when we were there, it was so much fun. Want your event to do more than just motivate? Want it to transform? Hi, I'm Jessica Rector, CEO of the Say Yes Experience, #1 best-selling author, and the keynote speaker and experience creator companies call when they're serious about change. I don't just speak, I'm known to move people. From the main stage to custom Say Yes Experience team building events, your group will crush comfort zones, ignite connection, and fuel mental wellness and peak potential, all while having the kind of fun that actually sticks. Whether it's a leadership summit, company offsite, or all hands meeting, we bring immersive, energizing experiences that unlock what's next for your people and business. So if you're ready to ditch burnout and lead your team into bold action and a Say Yes culture, book me now at jessicarector.com or email me at jessica@jessicarector.com. And hey, subscribe to the Say Yes Experience podcast right here. It's where the movement starts.
You've heard of a bucket list, things you want to do before you die, right? At the Say Yes Experience, we believe in something truly more powerful, the Say Yes bucket list. The things you want to do to truly start living. It's about feeling alive, breaking out of routine, and turning someday into right now. We've created a free Say Yes bucket list template to help you get started, so you can move to ideas to action and start saying yes to light the things that light your fire. So don't wait to truly start living, and download your free template today.
Just think, you're looking at all the different flavors that they have. You're thinking about, ooh, which one sounds good? You're going to a new place that you've never gone to before. So put yourself in that situation. It may not be ice cream. Maybe it's playing pickleball. Maybe it's going to a new restaurant or a new town. But when you're there, your brain automatically opens up because you're having to read a menu. You're having to think about the flavors mixing together in just the right way. And ooh, or am I going to like that one? Oh, they both sound good. Which one do I want to try? So your brain starts problem solving, which means it starts thinking in new and different ways without you even realizing it, because your brain is used to doing that. But when you're sitting there just laying on the couch, vegging out, you're not problem solving. Your brain is running like this instead of like this, which means you're not actively thinking, you're on autopilot. And your brain, when it actively thinks, goes, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This is something new. This is something different. How am I going to figure it out? What resources do I need? What is the experience that I've had before with that flavor? Was it good when I had it before? Ooh, but it was mixed with something different before, so it might be even better this time. Or maybe I want to try something completely different that I would never try to get my senses reacting in a positive way. So your brain starts basically lighting up, getting so excited. It's not lighting up, getting excited when you're just laying on the couch, not doing anything. So just that small, tiny experience of going to a new ice cream place, trying a new flavor, watching it being made, because at home, I'm not watching anybody make ice cream. That's literally me taking the scoop and putting it in the bowl, which I've done thousands of times. There's not anything new and different about me getting my own ice cream. Putting yourself in a situation, even if you've had ice cream 1,000 times before, you're putting yourself in a new situation that activates your brain. So even going to a different restaurant activates your brain. Going to a new city, saying hi to a stranger, all these things activate your brain, gets it excited, which means it gets you excited. Yes, it could stir up other emotions like hesitation, anxiety, fear, all these things. We'll work through all those things later in another episode. But I just want you to think about what you could start saying yes to get your brain actively engaged again. So you're not just coasting through life. So you're not just surviving, but you're actively participating, that you're engaged, that you're having different conversations, that you're trying new foods or trying a different way to work, that you're experiencing life again. Because when you experience life again, you also feel alive again. So in the moment of me sitting there trying to decide which flavor I wanted, I was in the moment. I was alive. I was living and participating in life again. And not just the work, not just the things I was getting hired for and the presentation, the engaging with new people, all these things I love. So all those things were activating my brain when I was in work mode. But my brain wasn't being activated in my personal life. When I wasn't on trips, it wasn't being activated. And my son deserved to have a mom who was present and engaged and living life. But more importantly, I deserve to be present, engaged, and living life, and to really feel alive again, and to be intentional about living. And so, in the middle of this ice cream trip, we get our ice cream, and it was amazing. Ice cream, brownies, this big container. It was spectacular. It was like a dream come true in the form of ice cream. And in the process, having those conversations with Blaze as we're eating ice cream, having him in a different way, asking him questions that I hadn't asked him in a while, listening to what he was saying and how he was saying things and his excitement. Being in that moment is one I will never forget because I was laughing and having fun and smiling. Outside of work, I couldn't have told you the last time I had smiled in my home life because I felt so drained and exhausted so much of the time. So being able to laugh and have fun and smile, I was like, yes. And so sometimes it's not about going out and doing big things, finding those moments, those small little moments in your life that ignite fun, that bring more smiles and laughter to you. Look for those opportunities in your life because through this process of going and having ice cream, it sparked something inside of me. It sparked more of, I want this and more of it in my life. So it was just a small moment in time, this going and getting ice cream, when you think of all the time that we have in our life. But it was a massive turning point for me. And because Blaze offered this idea of saying yes, it literally changed the trajectory of my life and also his life because of everything that came next, everything that continues to come just from him having this idea, him sharing this idea with me. Because think of all the ideas that you have in your life. Most of them you keep to yourself. You don't share them because you have the idea and then you think, that's dumb. That's never going to work. No one's going to care about that. There's no way I can make that happen. You come up with all these excuses, all this limiting belief and negative thought, self-doubt around your ideas. So oftentimes you don't share the very ideas that could literally change the trajectory of your life. So Blaze had the idea and he was open and willing to share it. Now, the cool thing is we're going to have Blaze on the very next episode. So make sure you tune in to that episode. And he's going to share how he came up with the idea, why he shared that idea. Was there any thought behind where it would go just from that idea and everything that's happened since? So he's going to give us his perspective on where this idea came from and how the Say Yes experience was born. So I can't wait to learn and find out more about that because he and I have never really talked about it. So you'll be hearing things for the first time at the same time I'm hearing things for the first time. So I'm very excited for the next episode as well. But I want you to think of the ideas that you have in your life. What will it take for you to share them, for you to write them down, for you to envision that idea turning into reality? What is it going to take for you to buy into that idea? Because sometimes having the idea and just sharing it, you're speaking it out to the universe. You're saying, universe, this is my idea. This is what I want. How can you make it happen? Because the universe is constantly rearranging itself in your favor all the time. So speak that idea out into the world. The Say Yes experience is the movement that helps you adapt to change, enhance mental wellness, and stretch into what's possible. We tailor every experience to your specific challenges and goals, whether that's preventing burnout, building resilience, or creating a culture of bold action and connection. Whether it's a getaway with your friends or creating something for small teams to an entire organization, this is where transformation begins. Say yes to growth. Say yes to a custom experience designed just for you. Let's build and develop your own Say Yes experience at jessicarector.com. Wish you could hit pause, catch a breath, and leave the rat race behind for a while? You can. Come check out Breakspace, a global community where mid-career professionals just like you are creating life-changing breaks every day. Founded by two leading break experts, this one-of-a-kind resource is your go-to for all things career break. With hands-on coaching, dynamic courses, and genuine connection, you don't have to go at it alone. Visit gobreakspace.com to learn more and join today. And when you speak that idea out into the world, be prepared because things are going to come back tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. It's going to turn into things that you never imagined. Now, before I take you on the journey of what happened next, if you want to stay up to date on all things Say Yes experiences, events, episodes, go to thesayyesexperience.com and join thousands of others just like you. And also be sure to leave a comment on this episode of what you want to say yes to, because we're choosing a few lucky subscribers to join us on upcoming Say Yes experiences, and you could be one of them. So also be sure to subscribe. We look forward to hearing your amazing idea. So after going for ice cream, fast forward a couple of months later, and I was planning a much needed vacation. I had specifically scheduled a good chunk of time in my calendar to take off from work and thought, I am going on a big vacation. Now, when I was planning this vacation, I thought, okay, we're going to do 3 weeks in a road trip. I'd never been on a road trip, and I thought, that's going to sound so fun. And so when I proposed the idea to Blaze, he said, Mama, I don't want to sit in my car seat to go to the grocery store. What makes you think I want to sit in my car seat for 3 weeks? And I thought, duly noted. I can definitely see that, right? So I left that conversation and I started thinking more about it. I thought, I'm thinking too small. I'm thinking much too small. Let's do 4 weeks, a month in Europe. Now, before Blaze, I had traveled quite a bit in Europe, and I hadn't done it since Blaze had been born. I was just trying to survive as a single mom and figure things out. And at this point in my life, I thought, no, he already has a passport. I'd gotten him a passport earlier that year for a trip I was going to take that ended up falling through. I got a passport for him earlier that year for a trip we were going to take, but it fell through. So he had a passport. I had the time. I had the finances. Yes. So I went to Blaze and I said, okay, scratch the road trip. We're going to do a month in Europe and it's going to be amazing. And he said, I'm not going. There comes a point in time that Mama's got to put her foot down. And I said, well, you can come with a good attitude or you can come with a bad attitude. But either way, you're coming. And it's going to be a lot funner for both of us if you come with a good attitude. So 30 days in Europe. I began planning it. We're going to go to Ireland, Scotland, Croatia, and Italy. It was going to be amazing. Now, I have been to 3 out of those 4 countries before, but I thought it would be a nice entry point for Blaze going on an international trip for the first time. And so we had landed in Ireland, and I heard about this square. And I really wanted to go to this specific square just to see it. I hear it's beautiful and it's nice. And I didn't want to do anything too big that first day due to jet lag. So I was on a mission to get to that square. Now, this was early afternoon that we were walking. And so on the way to the square, he saw these rows of rent-a-bikes. And he said, Mama, let's try those rent-a-bikes. And I said, no. And I just kept walking. And as we take a few more steps past the rent-a-bikes, B says, Mama, this is supposed to be a say yes experience. So he lovingly called me out. And I said, "You're right." And so in that moment, I also thought, why did I say no to renting those bikes? And so asking myself that and really being honest with the answer took me a bit of time to process and really think about. Why did I say no to those rent a bikes? Okay. Well, first of all, we have bikes at home in the garage that we never ride. If we want to ride bikes, we can ride them back then. Second of all, we're in Ireland. I don't want to spend my time riding bikes when we can do that back home. And then I don't want to spend the money. Again, we have bikes back home. We can do it for free back home. I'm not going to do that. But as soon as he said that it's a say yes experience, I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay. The next time we see those rental bikes, we're going to ride them. And wouldn't you know, a few minutes later, we saw the rental bikes. Because let's be honest, I was going to the square. It didn't matter if we got to that square at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was still going to be there either way. It wasn't going anywhere. And so I saw the rental bikes. I said, okay, buddy, let's go do some rent a bikes. Now, these are adult size rent a bikes, and Blaze still wanted to do them. So we went up to the kiosk to pay, and they were equivalent to about 50 cents. And I thought, I said no. And one of the reasons was because I don't want to spend the money. 50 cents. Yes, I can spend 50 cents. Not a problem. And so Blaze goes and he gets on the bike. And as a kid trying to ride an adult bike, it was a bit challenging, right? He couldn't reach the pedals. So he was trying to pedal and his feet wouldn't reach and he kept falling off. And I'd say, buddy, you got it. He'd get back on. He'd fall off. Buddy, that's okay. Keep trying. You almost got it. Get back on. Fall off. And then all of a sudden, something clicked in him. He got back on, but instead of sitting down on the seat, it was already to the lowest place it could go. He stood up and pedaled because then he could reach the pedals. And he pedaled, and I loved watching how all of a sudden something clicked in his mind for him to be able to successfully ride the bike. Now, before this, I hadn't ridden bikes in years. But just like the saying, it's just like riding a bike. You get back on and it comes back to you. So I get on the bike because I was just going to go put the bike up. And Blaze said, no, mommy, now it's your turn to ride the bike. I get on the bike and I start pedaling. And I'm just in this little square that doesn't have any grass. And it's just basically big old sidewalk area. And I pedal. And it's just like liberating. Like I'm in Ireland, the breeze blowing through my hair, and just riding a bike. All the worries, the concerns, the frustrations, the stress, all that negative feelings that I've been having, they all went away. They all dissipated in just that moment. And I almost passed up this opportunity because I didn't want to spend the time. I didn't want to spend the money. And guess what? We weren't doing it for that long of a time. 15, 20 minutes, 50 cents, 15, 20 minutes for me to feel liberated, for me to feel free, to let all the worries and the concerns just disappear. You deserve that. You deserve to give that gift to yourself. So maybe it's getting on a bike, riding it around town, renting a scooter, going out for the night, trying a new place with a friend, saying hi to someone at the grocery store, applying to that leadership position. You deserve to give to yourself. And so there's opportunities right now in front of you. All the time there's opportunities, and you're saying no to those opportunities because your brain is hardwired to say no. Just like when I said no to the bike, I had no idea even why I said no. I was just like, no, I'm on a mission, which also leads me to say that oftentimes we're focused on the end result, getting to that goal, accomplish that thing. We want to get to the top. We want to finish it. And we forget about the process, the journey, the steps, all the things that it takes to get there. And we forget to enjoy those moments, to sit in those moments, to process those moments, to ask ourselves the hard questions in those moments, and to allow ourselves to breathe in those moments. So the goal that you're on, the journey that you're pursuing, the path you're walking, all of those things, you're trying to get to the end. But what's the thing that's happening right now that you can say yes to? I'm thankful for that. This is such a challenge that's happening right now, and it's going to lead to something so much bigger. It's going to be part of the story. It's going to lead me down a different path. It's going to open my mind to a new opportunity. Because every time you say no to those opportunities, you're saying no to something amazing, because something amazing waits on the other side of that opportunity. So for me, saying yes to that bike incident was big. It was huge because it allowed me to stop and pause and to enjoy the process. Now I'm a driver. Let me get to the end. Let me finish these tasks, check them off, get done. It feels so good to have a list and check something off. I'm a driver. And so in that moment, I just wanted to get to the end. And Blaze wanted to enjoy the process. And so by being around someone different than we are, they also help us see new things, enjoy things in various ways that we wouldn't expose ourselves to, because I wouldn't have ever even thought to look at those bikes, to rent those bikes, to enjoy those bikes, to laugh on those bikes, to feel freedom and liberation on those bikes. Because walking past those bikes, I didn't even give it a thought, whereas Blaze was focused on those bikes. So it also helps me appreciate people who are different than me. So when you're stretching yourself, be open to ideas that other people have, that a new way based on what someone else suggests, because it might be exactly what you need that you don't even know that you need it yet. So when you're open to those say yes opportunities, you're also opening yourself up to expanding yourself past what you can do for yourself, because you're here and this is your comfort zone. Sometimes it takes someone else, their viewpoint, their experience, their background to extend your comfort zone, because sometimes you can't see beyond yourself. You don't even recognize that this is your comfort zone. But when someone else comes in and they start sharing ideas, their perspective, their experience, your comfort zone starts going in different directions. It starts creating a new formation, one that you would have never even thought about. So be open to others' ideas, others' opinions, other challenges and issues that you see other people going through, and think, oh, how would I do that? Or, oh, if that happened to me, how would I solve that? Something that someone else is doing in their business or in their career or in their relationship. Is it something that you can apply in yours? All these things expand ourselves and help us become the better, best version of ourselves.
Hey, I'm Blaze, and the CS experience was my idea. I created it to help my mom, Jessica Rector. When she was traveling and keynote speaking a lot and on the verge of burnout, I wanted her to say yes to herself, to joy, and to what's possible. What started out with me helping her find a new ice cream around town had turned into a movement. So together we wrote this book, The Say Yes Experience, with 52 powerful tips to help you prevent burnout, strengthen your mental health, and live intentionally. Step outside your comfort zone. One tip, one small shift, one big impact. Ready to say yes to a better you? Grab the Say Yes experience at jessicarector.com/store.
Burnout isn't just exhaustion, it's a warning sign that something needs to change. 90% of the workforce has been in burnout in the last year alone, according to Gallup, and it's not going away anytime soon. It's even impacting the home life, but it doesn't have to be that way. In my powerful book, Blaze Your Brain to Extinguish Burnout, 52 Keys to Prevent, Breakthrough, and Beat Burnout, I show you how to take back control, reignite your energy, and transform overwhelm into opportunity. Backed by research and real-life strategies, this isn't just another self-help book. It's your guide to lasting change, mental wellness, and saying yes to the life you deserve. Ready to break the burnout cycle? Grab Blaze Your Brain to Extinguish Burnout today at jessicarector.com/store. If you want to get a copy for your team or all your employees, reach out to me directly for rates at jessica@jessicarector.com. So on this trip with Blaze, everywhere we went, there were opportunities. There were say yes opportunities. We did glass blowing, and we actually were just going to watch a glass blowing experiment. We weren't participants in it. We were just going for the demonstration. And the demonstration was supposed to happen over here. And then two gentlemen over here who were actually glass blowing invited Blaze to glass blow with them. They weren't even part of the demonstration. So I was watching Blaze, also trying to watch the demonstration, but it was such a fantastic experience because we actually sat here and I said, Blaze, let's go sit over here so we can watch those people glass blow at the same time as this demonstration. And because of that one say yes, we went and changed to sit closer to them so we could see an up close and personal demonstration of how it's really done instead of that professional demonstration. They asked Blaze to come up and join them to glass blow. And no one else was invited to do that. And they also gave us a souvenir as we left. So it was very exciting to have that experience, all because we said yes just to moving seats, just because we were curious about how it was actually done and what they were doing. And that's part of the Say Yes experience framework, is becoming more curious. Ask the questions. When you feel that instinct come up, say yes to the instinct. The instinct was to move where we were sitting. And when we did that, we were able to have this other amazing experience that no one else was having besides us. So listen to your instinct. When you see something that intrigues you, go find out more about it. Ask people questions. Really get that curiosity skill in overdrive. Because when you do that, you become more innovative, creative, get better ideas. So that is one of the pillars of the framework, curiosity. And then there were also other opportunities on this trip. We were invited to lead a group. When we were part of the group of this tour, we were invited to lead it. And we're like, yes, yes, yes. We were giving gifts as volunteers. Everywhere we went, there were opportunities right there in front of us. And I said yes, which led to more opportunities and incredible experiences. So I want you to look at your life and the opportunities that are staring you in the face, waiting for you to say yes. And if you say no, I want you to ask yourself, why are you saying no? And get real clear on the answer. Really clear. Be honest with yourself. Why are you saying no? Are you scared? Scared of rejection, scared it's not going to work out, scared of what other people are going to say or think. Other people's opinions don't matter. You are here to actively live and be intentional with how you're living. They're not part of it. So again, ask yourself those hard questions and be truthful and honest with the answers. The answers are only going to help and serve you. And the answers are only for you. So make sure that you're being honest with yourself. Now, throughout this trip, I could tell my energy was changing. I started becoming alive again, wanting to be present and living again. I've been so busy working and traveling for work that I forgot to intentionally live. I forgot to intentionally be and to actively participate in my own life. So I want you to look at your life and what would you say yes to open up your life? To start feeling alive again and start actively participating and engaging, not just with life, but with experiences and in relationships. And how would being an active participant and being intentional about living change your relationships, your energies, the opportunities that's sitting right in front of you? Because when you start opening yourself up, more opportunities will find you, which means more possibilities are going to find you, more possibilities for the life that you want to actually come to fruition. So, my challenge for you today is to say yes to an opportunity that is waiting for you right now. Thank you so much for listening to the very first episode of the Say Yes Experience relaunch. I hope my story and Blaze's simple, powerful words spark something in you. Because the truth is, we're all just one yes away from a life that feels more joyful, more courageous, and way more alive. Saying yes requires you getting out of your comfort zone in order to live the life that you want and be the person that you're meant to be. It means doing something that you've never done before and in a way that you've never done it. It means leaving the old version of you behind and welcoming the new, improved version of you. So start living intentionally and inviting more fun and joy into your life starting today. I want you to say yes to one thing this week. Whether it's saying hi to someone at the grocery store, helping a single mom mow her lawn, give to a new charity, or apply for a leadership position or step into a relationship. Post about it. Tag me and put the hashtag the Say Yes Experience and challenge 3 other people to create their own Say Yes experience. I'll pick one person each week and feature it on the podcast. And I would love it if you would give us a 5-star review and tell me your biggest Say Yes experience moment or adventure. I'll read some of my favorites on an upcoming podcast. And when you find yourself saying no to something that scares you, that's not easy or that's uncomfortable, say yes instead, because something amazing waits for you on the other side. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep saying yes. I believe in you.